12. The news at 5:30 starts right now.
Believing in people when others didn't and turning losses into wins. Sylvia Laureano was a true part of San Antonio and, of course, Spurs Nation. A massive loss for our city as the iconic Spurs lady passed away yesterday. Our Devin Karp spoke to members of the community and the Spurs who want to honor her memory for years to come.
The team calls her a true fan with a big smile and an even bigger heart. Sylvia Laureano, seen at almost every game and event with her unique shirts, hats, and glam, died on Saturday. Her husband confirmed to KSAT she had a heart attack.
It has been cloudy and cold and frigid all week long, and as soon as she passes, a beautiful day arises, right? Which is, I'm sure, how she wanted to bless the city that she so loved.
As the Spurs unveiled a new basketball court on the east side Sunday, Spurs Arena host Zeze Aquino says when he started with the team, some fans had their doubts about him, but not Sylvia. She was one of the first to give him a big smile.
Sylvia was actually one of the few who weren't asking those questions. She was arms wide open, right? Funnily enough. She was always very accepting and always very lovely.
Mayor Ron Nirenberg posted on X last night that she embodied the heart and soul of our city, radiating love for SA in everything she did. Local artist JC Art announced he'll decorate a Spurs casket for Laureano.
I would dare say, I don't know if there's been anybody in San Antonio over the years that has been the subject of more selfies.
Richard Oliver, former sports columnist and communications manager for the Alamo Dome, says seeing Sylvia made being at the games better. She'd had prior heart issues, including surgery last year, during which the entire city showed their support.
She'd always say, the doctors say that my love for the Spurs is keeping me going. That's why she kept coming back, you know, and it was something that she held on to.
Is there anything you'd like to see at the next game when it comes up?
I think we all need to wear basketballs on our head. We need to come up with some costumes and do some special things, but I know one thing. I think there's going to be someone else someday. There'll be someone. She can't be replaced, but I think she's laid the groundwork for some special folks who are going to celebrate the Spurs.
Devin Karp, KSAT 12 News.
Sending love to Sylvia's family tonight. In other news, we're learning new information about a deadly incident on I-10 that we first told you about last night on the Night Beat. San Antonio police say the pedestrian who died jumped out of a moving vehicle and was hit several times. That happened near Hildebrand Avenue exit around 7:30 last night and held up traffic for 3 hours as police investigated. There's still no word on the man's name, but as for the investigation, right now it looks like there will not be any charges filed. A Saturday night house fire on the northeast side was sparked by a space heater. That's according to San Antonio firefighters. They responded to that home on Sun River Drive off Walsham Road around 10 o'clock. They put the fire out quickly and saved the home, and thankfully no one was hurt. But crews did determine the space heater was too close to a couch, which eventually caught on fire. And San Antonio fire crews say situations like this way too common this time of year. They stress the importance of using all kinds of heaters safely, not just space heaters. Electric blankets and fireplaces spark house fires too. So here's what you need to know. Keep flammable objects at least 3 feet away from space heaters. Things like blankets, sheets, and curtains should not be anywhere near where your heating devices are. And don't use an extension cord for space heaters. Plug them directly into the wall. And looking outside at live cam, we know it's beautiful now. Beautiful, beautiful day. But Shelby, we know that the early mornings are still really cold, so this safety information applies.
Yes, it still does. Temperatures this morning we're seeing in those 20s, mostly still in areas near hill country, but we're going to continue to warm up day by day. But we do still have one more chance of some colder temperatures tomorrow morning, especially for folks in hill country, where you can see some temperatures right around freezing. But this afternoon into the evening hours, temperatures still going to stay in those 50s and even start to see some 40s overnight tonight just before midnight. But tonight's going to be more of a gradual decreasing in our temperatures. And even beyond today, like I said, tomorrow morning, another chance of a freeze in areas near Kerrville and Comfort, in areas near Hill Country, while the rest of us going to sit in those mid to upper 30s, a little more comfortable, Courtney. But we do still have another chance of some 60s later this week, and I'll go over the track and timing of those warmer temperatures and when they exactly arrive coming up in just a bit.
All right, thank you so much, Shelby. Well, nearly 10 million people across Southern California are under a red flag warning and fire weather watch throughout Wednesday. Fierce winds forecasted to pick up over the next few days again, creating an extremely dangerous situation with those wildfires burning out there. And now we're learning that at least 16 people have died from those fires, though officials warn the scope of that loss of life is still unclear. ABC's Alex Stone is covering that disaster from Altadena, California.
In Southern California, thousands of firefighters and first responders are working around the clock to contain the historic destruction from several major wildfires burning for 5 days now. Also joining the fight, a specially equipped California Air National Guard plane dropping fire retardant on the mountains above Pacific Palisades. Firefighters report they are making progress battling the blazes. That progress could be in jeopardy as a forecast is calling for a return of more powerful Santa Ana winds. The hurricane-strength gusts that helped the fires intensify last week.
These winds, combined with low relative humidities and low fuel moistures, will keep the fire threat in Los Angeles County very high.
LA's fire chief says they are ready.
Every available LAFD firefighter is on hand and will remain in place through this wind event.
Firefighters from across the country and from Mexico arriving today to help. Over 100,000 people are under evacuation orders. The sheriff saying he knows people want to return to see if their homes are still standing, but it's just not safe.
Some of these areas, they literally look like war zones. There are down power poles, electric wires. There are still some smoldering fires.
FEMA now focusing on the recovery.
Starting to plan for how we're going to be able to bring in temporary structures for schools or other critical facilities that were lost. We need to really start to take this time to put that plan in place.
California's governor is predicting that these fires will be the worst natural disaster in U.S. history based on cost. The state of California now inviting President-elect Trump to visit the state. Alex Stone, ABC News, Altadena, California.
And it's just hard to see right there. Everyone here at KSAT keeping Southern California in our thoughts right now. It's an important region for me growing up just down the road in San Diego. Last week, I spoke with one of my childhood best friends that had to leave her home behind in the fires. I also caught up with former KSAT anchor Eileen Gonzalez, who has been dealing with heavy smoke in LA. You can watch both of those interviews right now on KSAT.com, and one of those stories coming up tonight on the Night Beat. Empowering women, just one goal of a brand new YWCA center in San Antonio. Our Stephanie Cerna checked out the brand new facility for herself and tells us why this new center is so important for our community. A local organization with the goal of empowering women, expanding its reach in San Antonio. YWCA San Antonio announced the opening of its new Women's Live and Learn Center. It'll provide 4-year housing for dozens of women. And as Stephanie Cerna reports, the goal is to improve the lives of those women and their children.
For many women in our community, it has been a difficult journey to survive and provide for their children.
Women who have experienced all sorts of traumas, from having experienced the foster system to survivors of interpersonal and domestic violence, or just experiences of backgrounds of poverty.
The YWCA already provides critical services like childcare and workforce development to thousands of individuals every year. And now with the official opening of the Women's Live and Learn Center, they will be able to provide somewhat of a safety net for women and their children, allowing them to reinvest in themselves and achieve their dreams.
We already actually have our first group of 10 women that have already chosen the program. They've already selected their rooms, and they are ready to roll and start their new journey with us.
The new center will provide supportive 4-year housing, workforce development, and case management to a total of 30 women by the end of this year. And even though this is an opportunity, those who will serve these women recognize that this will also be a big change.
When you're no longer in that survival mode, you're able to see opportunities, and then you're able to actually act on those opportunities. Our role is to be their biggest cheerleader. Our role is to break down those walls.
This is going to add affordable housing, supportive housing to help women, empower them to go through workforce training and build better lives for themselves and their children.
We're told the women chosen for the program will start moving in at the end of the month. Stephanie Cerna, KSAT 12 News.
And the grand opening of the Women's Live and Learn Center also coincides with the groundbreaking of the Harvey Najim Early Childhood Education and Care Center. One more look at the weather when we get back. All right, if you weren't with us last night, I want to welcome Shelby Bertowski to our team, our new meteorologist, and you'll be here on our shift for a few months, and we're so excited to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. It's been amazing so far.
And you're coming from North Dakota, so you're really excited that it's not that cold.
Yes, although something that's been similar the last few days is we get really strong winds up there, and we've had some stronger winds down here the last few days too. Even today we had some wind gusts up to about 25 miles an hour. Things have continued to calm down. Right now we're just seeing 20-mile-an-hour wind gusts in areas near hill country, and we're going to continue to have some stronger winds tomorrow. However, they are going to switch, but right now we're seeing those winds from the north. And once again, tomorrow it's going to continue to be a little on the stronger side, especially in the morning for your morning commute. And temperatures are already going to be in those 30s and some isolated 40s and an isolated 20 or 2 in hill country. So it's going to feel a lot colder in some areas. So you're going to want to remember to bundle up. Now, our wind gusts are in the yellow, and our actual wind speed is going to be on the calmer side where you see those green colors, and temperatures associated with that still going to be on the colder side, waking up in those 30s, but quickly increasing our afternoon temperatures into those mid to upper 50s for some of us. And that sun is going to try to stick around in the afternoon, but we're still going to have some partly cloudy skies to battle with that sun to allow our temperatures to warm up. But this I wanted to give you the heads up on. As we continue to have some colder temperatures in those 50s over the next few days, we have a cold front arriving next weekend that is going to bring some cooler air back into Texas and even into San Antonio. And we'll continue to keep you updated on that as we get closer to. But wanted to give you that first alert heads up to having temperatures get into those 50s, even back into those isolated freezing temperatures as well. But otherwise, some scattered showers off the coast of Texas and Louisiana. Not going to impact our area too much, but temperatures right now sitting a lot warmer than what we were this morning, sitting around 63 in San Antonio, 52 in areas near Rock Springs, 61 in Eagle Pass. And tomorrow morning, like I said, still going to be on the colder side. Some areas in San Antonio, like I said, waking up in those 30s, but other areas in hill country, even near Junction, waking up around 25 degrees. Still going to be on the colder side as well. And even as we get beyond just tomorrow and the next few days, temperatures still going to be a little colder in the morning, waking up in those 30s and 40s. Even in the afternoon, getting our afternoon temperatures into those 50s, even starting to see a few more 60s, even a possibility to 70 degrees on Friday. But the main story is just going to be the battle with some cloud coverage, having a chance of a few showers next week, but otherwise not too bad, a little more moderate compared to the cold.
Yeah, this is nothing like last week.
No.
We made it.
Yes.
All right, thanks so much. We're going to check in with Mary in sports right after this.
Sports is one of those things where, we're able to get away, we're able to unwind, and, hopefully we'll be able to play this game or a game at some point in time. But, we're extremely blessed and privileged just to be in this situation.
The Spurs and Lakers getting clarity on tomorrow's game as LA wildfires continue to ravage the city in big board sports. The San Antonio Spurs have been in limbo in Los Angeles due to the devastating wildfires in the area. The team was originally slated to play back-to-back games against the Lakers Saturday and tomorrow. Saturday's game was postponed to ensure no resources would be diverted from the wildfire response efforts. And today we learned the tentative plan is for the Lakers to resume their season beginning tomorrow, meaning the Spurs will, in fact, get a game in Los Angeles. Tomorrow, the 20-16 Lakers will host the 18-19 Spurs for a 9:30 start. And that brings us to tonight's instant replay poll question. Do you agree with the Spurs-Lakers game being played on Monday in Los Angeles with the wildfire is still going on. Yes or no? Vote no at KSAT.com/sports/poll, or you can use the QR code on your screen. We'll have the results at the end of Instant Replay tonight. And speaking of Instant Replay, after the Longhorn CFP semifinal loss to Ohio State, we caught up with former Smithson Valley and UTSA star Trey Moore. We'll hear how he's doing after transferring to the 40 acres and his reaction to his alma mater and former coach Larry Hill winning a program first state championship last month. Yesterday in the early slot, the Texans kicked off wildcard weekend in H-Town with a big win over the Chargers 32-12. The Houston defense forced 4 turnovers and sacked Justin Herbert on 4 different occasions, which gave C.J. Stroud time to settle in. And once he did, the reigning Rookie of the Year impressed, throwing for 282 yards with a touchdown pass to Nico Collins after an early interception. Now, in the second quarter, Stroud completed the pass to Xavier Hutchinson after a fumbled snap, and that was the start of the team's domination of LA in all 3 phases.
I think the spark was, CJ, I don't know what happened with the snap, but when he rolled out, we found Hutch about like 40, 50 yards down the field, man. That just opened everything. And I think Hutch, I was telling him all week, when your number is called, we're going to need you to deliver in a big way.
And he did deliver in a big way. Meanwhile, D'Amico Ryans said before the game, the key will be to win the battle at the line of scrimmage. And Will Anderson Jr. and company did just that.
I thought we won that battle. You know what I'm saying? I thought we took it personal. And, that was one of the biggest things is our line. We run an attack front. You know what I'm saying? And I thought the D-line, we did a really great job, man, just running our front and being who we are. One game at a time. We got to keep stacking, keep coming back, getting better. We can't relax now. We can't hone in on this win. We can enjoy it, but we got to move on and keep getting ready for our next opponent.
Well, let's see who that next opponent will be. Denver at Buffalo in the other AFC wildcard game. Bo Nix anchored an impressive scoring drive early, but after that, it was all Bills. Josh Allen threw 2 touchdown passes. James Cook scored on a 5-yard run and finished with 120 yards rushing. And the Buffalo Bills leaned on a balanced offensive attack in a 31-7 win. So that means the Bills will face the Ravens in the divisional round, and the Texans will play the Chiefs. Yesterday afternoon, the UTSA women's basketball team impressed with the win over Wichita State in wire-to-wire fashion, 69-51, with Becky Hammond courtside. The AAC win is tied for the program's best start to conference play at 5-0. UTSA is on a 7-game winning streak, and they remain undefeated at the Convo this season. After the game, head coach Karen Aston impressed by her team's independence as they strive for perfection.
It speaks to the commitment that they've got right now to fix things and be better themselves and not feel like we have to fix everything for them. They're learning. I think that's been a process this year, but it's so much better than it was a month ago, and I think it'll continue to get better. I think they're also helping the young ones when they come in. They need guidance. They need somebody to talk to them a lot, and I think that's gotten considerably better also. It's definitely fun for a coach when you start to see players connect without you having to do it yourself.
Meanwhile, the UTSA men's basketball improved to 7-9 overall with an 88-75 victory over the Shockers. The win was fueled by a 21-point effort by Marcus Melender. The men are back in action Tuesday at Rice, and the women are at Memphis on Wednesday to try and continue their winning streak. Now, talking about the Houston Texans playing the Chiefs, the defending champions, in the next round. That's going to be an interesting one, and I have a feeling they will be looked past just like they were against the Chargers.
And you see how that turned out. So
exactly.
You just never know in the playoffs. You really don't.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see. Nothing's laid out yet.
Yeah.
Right, thanks, Mary. We'll be right back.
Temperatures starting off the work week still going to be a little bit on the colder side, especially getting through Tuesday morning, getting to 35 degrees. But the good news, we do have our temperatures for the most part increase into those 60s. And guys, even a possible 70 degrees on Friday. Still going to have some cloudy skies though, so it could feel a little colder. But the sun does return on Saturday, so there's a little bit of some plus sides, I guess. I mean, I'd say 70 degrees is a plus side.
It's perfect. That's the ideal.
That's golf weather.
Yes.
Golf weather, yes. We need to do that. So great. All right, thanks. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you back here tonight on The Night.